Hello, and welcome to the Kosh. I'm Timber Smith, your host, and once again, we got another fabulous week on the Kosh here, and I'm super excited about this week's guest. We get an opportunity here to find out a little bit more about a project going on in Oshkosh that I've had several emails asked, and people wanted to see if we could get a guest on here about this. And lucky enough, we know a few people. So we were able to get a really good guest who is informed and can let us know what's going on. But before I go any further, let me introduce our guest. And once again, I slaughter names, so I'm going to apologize in advance if I don't. Our guest this week is Brenda Haines.
You got it. Brenda Haines.
Okay, Brenda Haines. How are you doing?
I am so good this morning.
Okay, yeah. You feeling good? You ready to take on the Kosh?
I am ready.
All right. So, Brenda, can you please share a little something about yourself, and what is your connection to the Kosh?
Well, I'd be happy to share a little bit about myself. I have lived in Oshkosh for the last 20 years. My husband, Alex, and I moved here in 2000.
I know that man.
Yes, you do. So we have lived here for just over 2 decades. Before that, we lived in Appleton. So we are Fox Valley folks for a long time now. And but I'm not from here originally. I actually grew up in Western Wisconsin, and I'm a small town kid. I grew up in a town called Arcadia, which is a town of 2,000 people.
What?
Yeah, 2,000. 2,000. I know. My graduating class was like 66. So tiny, right? Okay. But Arcadia is the world headquarters of Ashley Furniture. So the town population actually almost doubles, I think, during the day. I don't know if that's still an accurate statistic, but yeah. So Oshkosh is the big city, right? When you're from a town of 2,000. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm from Milwaukee, so the Kosh feels
tiny to you.
Well, it used to.
Yes.
Now it feels just right.
Just right. Exactly.
Ashley Furniture. Okay, that's pretty cool. Have you had a chance to go back home? I mean, I'm just curious because I got some furniture on order, and I'm trying to figure out
we were just talking about that.
Why is it taking 6 to 8 months to get some furniture? So if you got any connections back at home with Ashley Furniture, I just want to know what's going on.
My mom and dad will be very happy to hear you say that they want me to come back home. They're there now, so it'll be I'll head back this summer to see them, which will be great. But so I grew up in Arcadia, went to college in Iowa. Wartburg College is my undergrad, and then I was a double major in communication arts, electronic media, and political science. And so my first job out of college, I was a television news reporter in Eau Claire.
What?
Yeah, that's where I met my husband. We worked together. We did not date at that point. We just worked together. And then I moved over here to work at Fox 11, and I worked out of the Valley Bureau, covered, Appleton, Oshkosh, Fond du Lac, kind of east and west of there, and did that for about 3.5 years. And then I saw a job opening at the Oshkosh Public Library Winnifox Library System, and I went to work at the library.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah. So, and I loved working at the library. And I met the woman at the time who was running the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation, and she had an opening for the first ever marketing development person at the Community Foundation. So I applied for that gig and got it, and spent 3.5 years there. And that was, I don't know if people who listen to the Kosh know the Community Foundation, but amazing organization.
No, I think. Can we go down that road?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I'd like to know more. I know it exists. So anytime you hear foundation, there's like this, like they're doing good things, but you don't always know the good things.
It's kind of like there's shrouded in mystery sometimes,
a little
right?
bit,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So what's going on over there?
Yeah, so the Community Foundation exists to help people do good things in the community. So people set up charitable funds that do everything from scholarships to arts programs to community betterment. And the foundation, the purpose of it really is to help make the community stronger.
Oh.
It was set up back in the 1920s. So some people back then had some vision.
Right.
That this would be an organization that would last for a long time and really do good things. So they've done everything from when Pollock Community Water Park got redone, they were a big help in that. Building the Leach Amphitheater, big help in that. Downtown Revitalization Plan, big help in that. So they've had their fingers in lots and lots of things. And they give out tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarships every year to students. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think there's a website, Fox River Valley Scholarships or Fox Valley Scholarships, that they award scholarships through. So just amazing organization. So I was really lucky to be a part of that for 3.5 years. And then my business partner and I, Heidi Strand, started Blue Door Consulting, and that's a marketing consulting company here in Oshkosh in 2002. And I was a silent partner for the first 2 years, and then we had grown it to a point where we needed both of us full time. And we have continued to grow it up to today. And we now have a team of about 40 who work on all sorts of branding, content, marketing, web development kind of projects. So that's the fun.
Well, there was all sorts of shout outs we needed to get in there, but I wasn't going to jump in and stop anything.
I'm a fast talker.
No. Shout out to the foundation.
Shout out to the library. I mean,
yes.
We have such an amazing library in our community.
That, and you know what I like? I like that, they got these apps where you can take things out digitally. So that's super cool.
People don't know that always. Yeah, they have great online resources as well. So yeah, and it's a beautiful building. It's a great community center. They really have done a nice job of making themselves accessible, I think, to the public and being a great resource. So,
are they open yet? Do you know if they're fully back open?
I think there's might still be some limitations. But I think they're doing a good job of making themselves accessible to people.
Okay. Hey, I just want you to know that we share a library pass. I actually used to work at the Milwaukee Public Library back in the day. Yes, I was a circulation aide, so I was putting the books back. You never do. I never read so much in my life than you're putting books back and you see all these books that you never knew existed. And I would sit, and I'm sure we had the coolest librarian. Shout out to my man, Mr. Banks. He hooked me up back in high school, back in the day. And you find out about all these books that you didn't know existed. And then I would sit and just read for 15 minutes about, and dig in for him. And he was always super cool. He might look at me a little bit of side eye, but he never formally came up and was like, Timber, you got to get back to work. So, I mean, I appreciate that, Mr. Banks.
Well, that's a shout out for sure. I remember hearing a saying once that the most interesting book is the one that's next to or two down from the one you were looking for. Oh. Meaning when you're browsing on the shelves, you go looking for something and you think this is the one that I want. And then you look down the shelf and you're like, wait, this one looks even better. That's the nature of being in a library. You get the opportunity to see all these things that you didn't know existed.
Yeah, I think it's the ultimate rabbit hole.
Totally.
Right?
Exactly.
It's kind of like when you're looking on, let's just say Netflix for a movie. Yep. Right. And then the next thing you know, you're down, actually more like YouTube.
That's the one I was going to say.
Yeah, YouTube. You find that video and then all those other videos pop up and then you're down the rabbit hole and then it's 2 hours later and you're still watching videos on YouTube.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Have done it.
And okay, so can you tell me the name of the marketing business again?
Blue Door Consulting.
Blue Door Consulting.
Yes.
Okay, shout out to Blue Door Consulting.
Thank you.
And I just want to put a plug in there. I know this amazing young lady who is an interactive web management graduate. If you happen to be looking for anybody, that just happens to be my daughter. And so...
I better have a resume in hand by the time the show is over. That's what I'm thinking.
We can make that happen.
We will absolutely take that. So
these are the things we make happen on the Kosh. We have no shame. Shameless plugging. All right. We're going to jump into the first segment. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. It is called What in the World is Going On With. That's where you start off with the phrase, what in the world is going on? And you finish with whatever is going on in your mind. So, Brenda, what's happening?
Well, I heard your episode with Amy Albright, and you were talking about something that was new segments for the Kosh. So what in the world is going on with new segments? I want to know if you got any suggestions, because I brought a few in case.
Oh, no, I love this. Okay. I'm in turmoil. That's the way to put it.
Okay, well, so I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No. Hey, look. This is part of being on the Kosh. There's one I was coming up with that I thought would be really cool. That would be like the best advice your parents ever gave you.
Ooh, that is good.
And because I feel like your parent always gives you some piece of advice that like, sometimes it's so random, but it means so much because you don't figure it out until you're older.
Exactly. That was what my dad used to say to me. You don't think that I'm right now, but when you're, I was 16 or something. When you're 25, you'll understand what I mean.
All right.
He was right.
All right. Was it 25 exactly? It was like, boom.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah. So that's one I'm thinking of. But And you know what? Since you brought it up, we're going to try it out later.
Ooh, I'll have to think fast on that.
All right.
Yeah.
But I want to hear, what were you thinking for segments? Because, the Kosh is a show of the people of the Kosh. So I need to know, what are you thinking, Brenda?
Well, I was thinking it would be fun to ask people what's their favorite Oshkosh hidden gem.
Oh, I like that.
Because we have so many awesome local places. And I don't know that everybody always, you get kind of in a rut as a person, right? You go to your faves and you miss out on the fact that maybe there's something new, something that you need to discover. And I thought it'd be fun to hear from your guests what their favorites are, because I'm always up for trying something new. And I like to think that, we could help each other not feel like we're missing out on something.
Okay. I'm going to put that out there to the Kosh listeners. Hey, if you like that idea, please don't hesitate. Email us at askthekosh@gmail.com, because I like that idea a lot, actually. Except for some hidden gems I ain't going to share, because I don't want you in the spot taking my spot, because you know how that happens. You share your hidden gem. It's like sharing your fishing spot. The next thing you know, somebody's in your fishing hole all the time. I don't want somebody in my favorite chair at my favorite location because I shared it with the world. You might have to find out on your own. But
well, I'm thinking that, we share, and then those businesses or organizations or hotspots become so popular that maybe they grow and it's good for them. I don't know. That was my thought. No, I like giving the shout outs. So
absolutely. I am all about that. We should totally do that. I'm feeling that. That's a great one.
Awesome.
All right.
My one other one was, I'm about kind of visualizing and casting a vision and helping people see. So I think, like, what does Oshkosh need next? And this is like so fantastic. A recent example of this, I was talking with some people last summer, and I said, I think Oshkosh really needs a place where you can rent like kayaks and stand-up paddleboards and that kind of thing. And now it's happening. I mean, I didn't make it happen just by saying it, but maybe when people talk about stuff like that, it gives somebody who's already got an idea, the courage to go after it and make that happen. So I think talking about, like, what do we think our community needs next would be really cool too.
Ooh, okay. I think we got 2 new segments. I think those are good.
Oh, yay. Thank you. I love brainstorming. So you can take it or leave it, but I love brainstorming. So thanks for letting us play with that a little bit.
Hey, that sounds like somebody who might be in the marketing. I don't know. I'm just going to say that, maybe that's part of how that works.
You're on to me.
Bruh. No doubt. Okay. Yeah, I think we can incorporate those. Hey, Kosh listeners, please reach out. Let us know. Let us know what you think about those concepts. I think those are pretty doggone good ideas. No doubt. All right. My what in the world is going on with for this week is the housing market.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's hot.
It's crazy.
It's like crazy hot right now.
Right? Like, I keep hearing now, I'm not out here looking for a house because as you know, I'm in a remodeling process.
You're remodeling.
I'm remodeling. And that was because the market was so hot.
Smart move.
Well, it was going to be a better move because my wife was trying to condo us, and I'm too young for a condo.
You're like, I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah, no, that's a different level of life as far as I'm concerned.
Yes,
I'm still, I like to think, young and vivacious.
I love it.
So, but just from people that I know out here, I feel like you can't just go into this willy-nilly. Like you can't just be like, I hear the market's hot, I'm gonna put my house for sale. I think you need to go buy a house and then put your house for sale.
You will find yourself without a place to live. I mean, it will be
literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
It moves so fast right now. My husband's brother and his partner just relocated to Oshkosh, and they were looking, at the market, and cute houses would go quickly. And so you got to be on your game if you're gonna do this, and especially if you have a house, if you're listing your house first, make sure you have one lined up. I think right,
because it is that serious, and things are being sold before they ever hit market. Mm-hmm. And it seems like if you look at something and you kind of like it, it's gone by the next day.
Yeah,
and people are coming with cash.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not in the market right now for a house because I like to think about my decisions. I like to ponder.
Right.
That's a lot of pressure when you got to decide that fast.
And it's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. Yeah. The going rates are things are going beyond what prices used to be, which is cool. And we have an affordable housing market.
Oh yeah.
Here compared to, the coasts and things like that. Oshkosh is, I think, a pretty affordable place to live and buy a house, but it's been ticking upward.
It is, which I'm sure it's good. You know what? If there is a realtor out there in the Kosh land, I'd love to have that conversation because I would just like to have a greater understanding on what happened, right? Because it just seemed like, boom, all of a sudden this demand just went bonkers.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Like, what's driving that?
Yeah.
Do you think it is partially pandemic related because we all were spending so much time in our houses and we started to think, ooh, it would be better if I had.
Absolutely. I think spending time in your home as much time as we did during the pandemic, I think people made reassessments about what their needs were for the home. And there's more needs for different things, right? Like I was reading an article the other day and they said one of the biggest demands now is the home office.
I was just going to say,
right?
Thinking about how much remote work has happened and is going to continue to happen.
Right.
Because I think that's been the other big discovery of the pandemic is a lot of companies that hadn't embraced remote work are now saying, you know what, you want to work from home a couple days a week, full time, that's all good.
Right. And the thing is you can't put it back in the box now, right?
Exactly.
It's out the box and it's proven. People can be very productive in those settings, maybe even more productive. So business, and it saves costs. And, hey, let's be honest, businesses are made to make a profit. And if it's a cost cutting measure where you can have people work from their homes, I mean, it's going to be considered.
We've always at Blue Door, we've always had people work from home. Like our very first employee has worked remotely since, 2005 or 6, whatever that was. So that's always been on our docket. And I think you're exactly right that it can be a way to kind of keep costs in check. That's certainly not the reason we did it. We did it because we wanted the best talent that we could find. And sometimes relocating isn't an option for people. They need to live close to family or whatever. The one thing I would say, though, is companies, as we do this, we have to remember that people still need to feel connected to each other and to their organization, and that culture really still matters. And we have to be intentional about creating a strong culture. It's easy if people are all remote and we just kind of think, okay, just do your own thing, but we're still a team. We're still working together to get something done, and we've got to still facilitate that level of team.
Yeah, and I mean Zoom and Teams and all of that is all fine and dandy, but there's nothing like the energy of sitting in the room full of minds brainstorming and working towards a goal. Mm-hmm. I like it. I miss it. I'm not going to lie, this week, there was two meetings or a meeting that maybe two that happened this week. And I was so used to everything being Zoom and Teams and things. And I made the automatic assumption that it was.
That it was remote?
And it was totally in person.
Oh! We're going to be in that strange period now too.
Right. So there's this period where we're going to have to get out of that mindset and we're going to actually have to look, or is this because there are some, I've been in on certain teams and in certain meetings where there's definitely that conversation of this is working because of there's so many people. So we're going to keep doing remote.
Yeah.
But then we can't ignore the fact that we're getting away from it, as people are getting these vaccinations and things. So I just think like we're going to have to keep an eye on our Google calendars here and just not make assumptions.
Exactly. I had a similar situation this week where it was a presentation that I was scheduled to give. And a day before, someone said, "Is this in person or is this remote?" And I had made the assumption it was remote. I was glad they were asking the question just to be sure. So yeah, you're right. We gotta pay attention to all of this, and I think also create opportunities where it makes sense to be in person, to do that, to give people a chance. I don't know. Our team's like super excited to be back together. Like,
right.
Let's do this. So just recognizing that people have been kind of working by themselves for a long time and create opportunities where we can.
Hey, I totally feel that, and I'll tell you what I have noticed, and I might have mentioned this in a past episode, but have you noticed that when you run into people now, they want to talk?
Oh my gosh. And like we've noticed also just the likelihood that people will sort of drop by is increasing, like, oh, you're hanging out in your driveway, like we having a driveway fire. We're gonna pop over. It's safe. It's outside. All that jazz. Yeah, I think we're missing each other, and I think it's time, to fix some of that now that vaccination rates are rising and we can do that safely.
Oh, we have always had the people with the drop over. They like to come and hang out with us in what I call the she shed, which
hey,
we have a she shed. It's called our garage. It is it is not our garage. It is my wife's garage. So the she shed
I like it.
And we definitely have people that like pop over and we love having guests.
Exactly. Right.
Yes.
And it feels even more so now that it's like, okay, I'm ready to see people.
Yes.
Let's bring it on.
Okay. You ready for the next segment?
I'm ready. Bring it on.
All right. We're jumping into word/phrase association. Just tell us what comes to mind with these words. So the first word is food.
Ooh, I always think local when I think food. Of course, this is because for those who don't know, I'm a current president for the Oshkosh Food Co-op board of directors. Oh. And so when I think food, I think about the local food scene and local producers, local growers. So I think of companies like Poco Pizza, Sean Pollock. Do you know Poco Pizza?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm excited to tell you about Poco Pizza.
Oh, come on.
Okay. Poco Pizza is in Van Dyne. So just a little bit south of Oshkosh, between Oshkosh and Fond du Lac. And Sean Pollock is the owner. He sources, I think, every ingredient for the pizzas locally. So either grown on his farm or raised on his farm or from others in the area. And then he sells them. He makes the pizzas, freezes them, sells them out of his farm store on Saturdays. Or you can order online and have them delivered to your house on Sundays.
Oh.
And they are like super creative flavors. So yesterday I went out there and I got radish and ramp and white button mushroom. So yeah, exactly. They are fantastic. And I just love knowing that I'm, supporting this local entrepreneur. Another one is Thunderbird Bakery, a local bakery.
I think I might have heard about them. Do they have the sourdough bread?
You know them. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And also you can order online and have it delivered, or they have a kitchen that they sell out of on Saturday mornings. So Olden Organics is another one out in Ripon. They do local food to your doorstep is the online ordering for that. And that's veggies, and they've got quite a range of products. So veggies and some bread and some like maple syrup and honey. And I don't know, it's all seasonal. So kind of what's all on their website right now, but great stuff. So when I think food, I think of the local food scene and local producers that I've gotten to know through the work on the co-op and how, rich this is in developing.
Now you've got me super curious about this pizza place.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it is worth the trek. He's got he has some other local producers products there as well. He's got Thunderbird Bakery. He's got some maple syrup, some honey. He has Kelly Creamery ice cream, which if you haven't been to Kelly Creamery, another great, they're to the south, but they have great flavors. I think the one we tried yesterday was strawberry rhubarb, which is really springy sounding, right? Yeah.
Yes.
It's just, so we're lucky. We've got some good stuff going on here. Exactly.
Yes, we do. Okay, I'm feeling that. We might need to put some of those links in this episode of the podcast because I mean, as the Kosh listeners hear these things, they're gonna be like, yeah, I need to know more about that. Can you hook us up?
Exactly.
So I think we can do that. All right. Cocktail or beer?
Oh, why discriminate?
It's not an either or. It's an and.
It's an and. I like to see the world as an and kind of place. Yeah, exactly. I'm not fussy, but that's another place where we're lucky. We've got some great local breweries.
Yes.
Local Fifth Ward, Bare Bones, we're Fox River. Like we've got some good things happening here in Oshkosh, and I like supporting those places. I think what they're doing is really creative. They come up with some great flavors. If it's not local, I'm a dark beer drinker.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
what's that favorite?
Well, my absolute all-time favorite, I don't think they make anymore. It was a beer called Coco Mole, and it had like notes of chocolate and hot pepper, and
Ooh.
Yeah, and I've been chasing something similar for a long time, and yeah, just I drank it, and I said, this beer will change your life, it's that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I'm a fan across the board. I think we've got a great, creativity here, cocktails, beers, all of that. I even like the places that are doing like fun mocktails to drink, because not everybody wants to take in alcohol all the time. So yeah. I'm a fan of it all.
A good mocktail there's a place for it.
I think so, right?
And I actually think that's a market. I think that's a huge market that's probably goes untapped.
Underserved for sure.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people, for whatever reason, I got to get up and work early tomorrow. I just don't want to do it. Whatever the reason might be. I think there's opportunity there to even be more, have more. So anyway, that's the story.
So, what's the cocktail? We know the beer.
Oh yeah. Well, I think when you're in Wisconsin, and a good old fashioned is always equivalent to Friday night. I remember as a kid thinking, I don't get why adults drink these all the time. Mm. And then as an adult realizing, oh no, now I get this.
now it all makes sense.
Now it all makes sense.
Did this happen at 25 too?
That one I think was a later in life appreciation. It's like an acquired taste. Yeah.
Yeah. I have learned definitely to love a quality old fashioned.
Yeah.
And we had a guest, I think that might have been Nicole, and we talked about the art of the muddle.
Ooh, yes. Yes.
Like you gotta muddle.
You do. I totally agree with that.
None of this pre-mixed stuff.
Totally agree. My husband makes a fantastic old fashioned. He takes, it looks like it's a baseball bat that he's muddling with. It's, that substantial to really get those cherries.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alex, you're holding out, my man. I'm going to have to, we're going to put that on the to-do list. Must have an Alex old fashioned.
Come hang out in the driveway and have an Alex old fashioned. There we go.
I'm holding you to the invite.
Absolutely. We will message you the next time we're out there.
Netflix.
Ooh, Netflix. So I don't know about you, but Netflix got us through the early pandemic for sure.
Okay.
we binged. Have you watched Schitt's Creek? The show?
No, but that's that's been mentioned and it's a favorite. People really like that.
Yeah, the first season, the characters aren't super likable, so you have to do a little work to get through the first season, and then they grow on you over time and as they evolve. So it's a good story. So Schitt's Creek was a good one. I'm also a total. I love like the murder mystery kind of shows.
Oh,
So we streamed all the seasons of Castle.
okay.
Yeah. And then I also am pretty nerdy. So we watched some documentaries as well.
I did too.
Did you watch? Oh, tell me. What? I'm always looking for a good recommendation.
Okay, I can't. I'm going to be honest.
No, that's
you
okay.
You caught
me.
I
didn't mean to catch you off guard.
No. It's
okay.
fair.
It's hard to remember the names too when you're. Yeah.
But I mean, I've definitely sat down and watched a couple of documentaries where I was like, oh, they just seem interesting. And you know, Netflix has a way of, I'm sure it's all the artificial intelligence in the background of reading my mind. And they're just like, oh, Timber would love this. Let me just put it in his face.
It's the rabbit hole, right? It's
Yes.
kind of like being that book at the library that's next to the one that you were looking for. You finish one and then the algorithm pops up the next one. It's like, ooh, I don't think I can turn this off.
Yes. They get me all the time. It's one or two things. They either get me where I turn it on and then I just watch, or I get overwhelmed and I can't decide what I want to watch, and I get stuck.
There is that risk as well, that there's too many choices and then you just kind of freeze, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I hear you.
Summer.
Oh, summer. Well, summer's exciting. I love the seasons in Wisconsin. You know, there's not a bad season. It's really just what you're going to do with it. But summer is really fun because we get to do all the outdoor stuff. I love hiking and biking and exploring new places. So that's what I think about summer, is being outside. I also like to garden and grow stuff. So yeah, so summer's the time to get out and do battle with weeds and
Facts.
yeah. So but flowers blooming and just enjoying the outdoors.
Okay, I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole with you on the garden, because the garden. I like to grow a garden.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
I didn't know this. We have this in common.
In our garden, our whole sole purpose of the garden is salsa. We grow things to make salsa.
Brilliant.
I'm a bad man. I make some amazing salsa. Me and the wife, we handle business, but we go for it, and it's serious. It's so serious that when we make it, you got to put on some goggles because the whole house gets fumigated.
So it's spicy.
Oh,
you're hardcore.
I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings.
Okay.
Because I think there's a point when you do spicy things that you lose taste. Right? I don't just do hot for the sake of just hot. My stuff is hot, but the flavor is robust.
Ooh, okay. So we'll make the old fashions, but you're bringing the salsa.
Oh, done.
For the driveway, because this sounds awesome. So you're growing like tomatoes and peppers and onions. What else do you put in it? I don't want to ask for a secret recipe or anything.
I can't give you more because there is secret ingredients that go into it. Here,
literal secret sauce.
There's literally some secret things to give it the right kind of flavor. I don't want to hurt. One day I might have to patent this thing.
I like it.
So,
all right.
The only other thing I will tell you is garlic. There must be garlic in it.
Yes, I'm a pro garlic person. Yes, so
all about that.
That's good. Ooh, this sounds good. So I like to grow. I grow some tomatoes. I grow some peppers. I love to grow squash because they last over the winter. So I'd like to grow butternut squash. And last year I tried for the first time Brussels sprouts.
Oh, how did those come out? I've always been curious.
They didn't. The good news though is they've resurfaced this year. They're back and they're greener than ever. So Alex was reading online that they're actually biennial. So they do come back. So they they never produced a large enough Brussels by the time it froze for me to harvest them last year. But now they're back. So I'm thinking I've got a huge head start this year, and maybe I'm going to have a bumper crop of Brussels sprouts. So we'll see.
Okay.
If anybody knows anything about Brussels sprouts, I'm open to your wisdom.
Yeah.
This was new for me.
I'd like to know more. And my question would be is when you plant Brussels sprouts, is it like one Brussels per seed kind of thing?
No,
or
it's like a stalk, and they're like they wind their way all the way around the stalk. So you get, I don't know, 25 or 30 of them on a stalk, I think, is what's supposed to happen. Now that didn't happen for me last year. So I'm speaking as someone who looked at what they were supposed to look like. So I'm hoping that this year will be a success story. I'm also hoping this year I put in asparagus, which is a perennial. I put that in 3 years ago, and I think the third year is supposed to be ready to harvest. But that's a lot of patience. You know, I'm like not usually that patient a person, so this has been a long wait for me to get to that asparagus.
Oh yeah, I think I think it does. It takes like 3 or 4 years before it really starts kicking in. But then once it kicks in, like
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I love fresh asparagus.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yes, there's this whole saute thing.
Right?
Yes.
Exactly. Roasted. We grill it sometimes. And when I say we, I mean Alex, but the flavor, you can do it so many ways, and it's fantastic. So.
All right.
Yep.
I'm feeling that. All right. Community.
Oh, don't we have an awesome community? I mean, there's so many people doing interesting things here, making things happen. I just think this is a fantastic place to live.
It's the Kosh.
It's the Kosh. What else can you say? There's good happening. And people, what I love about this place is people really roll up their sleeves, and they're unafraid to take stuff on. You know, they're unafraid to start the new business, make the project happen. That's what I think is really cool.
Yeah, we got some pretty cool people around here. And you're right. There is this whole thing that people, they get to action. They actually do things. And there's something to be said. You know, a lot of things get stuck in the idea phase.
Exactly. And you need people. It's not the kind of place where we wait on one or two people to kind of champion it and do it. It's like there's a lot of champions of different kinds of things, a lot of people doing their part, and that's what makes it successful. It's like everybody pitching in to do their piece of it. So I love that about this place.
Okay. So next segment, the Naughty/Heroes Corner.
Ooh.
So you get an opportunity to nominate somebody to the Naughty or the Heroes Corner, or not necessarily somebody. That is you know what? That's my nomination right now. My nomination is for Bosco, the naughty dog, to be in that corner.
Well, maybe he's warning us about something, and he actually belongs in the hero. I don't know.
But it
could be.
The only thing he's probably warning us. Yeah, maybe he's warning us about a treat. That's about.
He's like, I want some action here. I want you guys to know about this. All right. So the naughty corner. You know what? I have one, and this is outside the Kosh, but I think that the naughty corner belongs for the people who are spreading disinformation about the vaccines. You know, I've seen that. I've seen stuff going around, and it just makes me kind of crazy. The spreading without checking the facts, or gosh. Thinking about the fact that might be intentional. Like, I'm anxious to get back to the before times,
right?
Recognizing they're not going to be the same. So it's like, we've got a path forward. Let's go after it and let's get this done. We all want to see each other. We all want to help these businesses that have struggled. We all want to do the right thing. So, you know, spreading this misinformation or disinformation is really kind of troubling. And, you know, we gotta be good information consumers. We gotta fact check what we're sharing and make sure that it's legit.
That is so true. And you're so right about that. And here's the funny thing. I notice sometimes that the people who have the most to say about things getting back to normal and their freedoms are the same people who might be sharing some disinformation. And
I, you know, it's so crazy to me, because I think we all want the same thing.
We do.
We really do. And that's why I think it's like, okay, we our job here is to look at what's going to get us there the fastest and the most direct route. And I think that's the path forward. So we all just have to be really aware and conscious of, is what I'm sharing, is the information I'm sharing legit? And this comes from, so I was trained as a journalist. So this comes from my desire to fact check. Now I have done it accidentally. And when I've always tried to correct the mistake, like delete the post or add an update at the top, like, oh, I didn't know this. And I want the rest of you to know that this is fake too. And, it's easy to just hit that share button and be part of that. But we all got to be smart about what we're putting out in the world.
I do agree. And to be fair, there was a lot of things that changed, right? So we started in this one place. And then as there was research and more participation in things, we learned. But to be fair, I also think that people have to not hold that situation in a place where, because they said this before and then it changed to this. I mean, that's the scientific process. There's growth through it,
Right. We get smarter, so we do better.
Right.
But we're not going to.
And it changes.
Right. We're not going to get everything right exactly out of the gate. But new information, we have to be capable and willing to take it in and then make new decisions. I mean, we've all had moments in our lives where we thought something and then we got new information and we realized, wow, I was wrong about that. I think the best thing we can do in that scenario is be like, okay, I was wrong initially. Now I see that I was wrong and I'm adopting this new path forward.
Yes,
so that's the scientific process. That's exactly it. It's like hypothesis, test, learn, new hypothesis, test, learn. We should be doing that all the time.
All the time. Okay. We are getting ready to jump into the topic of the week. Topic of the week is chosen by the guest. And so this week's topic is updates on the new food co-op construction. And since we have the president of the food co-op board here, I think we've got good information sitting in front of us.
I'm so excited to talk about this. I mean, this has been a huge community project. So I'm here talking about it, but boy, there have been just hundreds of people who've helped volunteer to make this happen. And that's why it's such a fun project to talk about. So for those who maybe aren't acquainted with the project in the Kosh, the Food Co-op is a community-owned grocery store that is opening at the corner of Jackson and Pearl later this year. And the vision for this is to strengthen the local economy, promote health, and build community. So the local economy side of it is the grocery store is going to have an emphasis on locally grown and produced products. So we were talking earlier about.
Right. This feeds right into we were talking about the food and pizza and I forgot
bakery and
yes,
all the locally grown and produced products here in our community. That's part of, not just in our community, but in this region in the state of Wisconsin. I mean, we're super lucky in Wisconsin because we have such a rich, growing agriculture culture. Exactly. So there's amazing products produced in Wisconsin. And so part of the focus for the food co-op is to source, at least 20% of our goods locally and make that available on the shelves. I think people, I don't know about you, but I love the farmer's market, right? It's fun to go down there on a Saturday morning and see what's being grown in real time.
The farmer's market. Oh my God. Yes.
We have such a great farmer's market here. It really is spectacular. And we see that through the farmer's market, a lot of new businesses have started up and been able to sell, but there's kind of a gap between you can sell at the market and now you have enough volume that you can sell at a major chain grocery store.
Right. So
we want to be the bridge to that, right? Where we can provide a 7-day-a-week outlet to growers and producers to sell their goods and make them available to people in Oshkosh. Because, sometimes you're out of town on a Saturday and you miss the farmer's market, but you still want to support local. Right. So that's one of the aspects of the food co-op is to strengthen the local food economy by bringing locally produced and grown products onto the shelves of the store.
Okay.
And then I think the other thing that's noteworthy is this food co-op will be the first food co-op in Northeast Wisconsin. So we're doing something here in Oshkosh that no other community in Northeast Wisconsin has done as yet.
That's huge. So the first of its kind. There's never been one in the past.
I think there've probably been some in the past, but there aren't any active food co-ops in Northeast Wisconsin right now. So yeah, so this will be new. There are really successful food co-ops in Milwaukee, Outpost Natural Foods in Madison, Willie Street in Eau Claire, Just Local Foods, Menominee has Menominee Market, La Crosse has People's Food Co-op. They're all over the state, but we don't have any here. So we're kind of excited to bring this concept to Northeast Wisconsin and hope that some of the folks, who've experienced those other food co-ops and maybe our fans will find their way to Oshkosh to shop. And while they're here, maybe they'll check out some of the other awesome businesses that we have going on downtown. And that we'll be able to bring shoppers into the region.
Is there like a food co-op following? I mean, is that a thing where people are like, let's go check out? Because do other food co-ops hold a similar philosophy where they're trying to interact with their local producers and economy? And so if you go to the food co-op regionally, you're very much connecting regionally with what's available. And so it has this very homegrown feel to it, right? Is that what's happening?
You are spot on there.
Okay.
It's like, this so well. Yes, each co-op is set up because they're community owned, meaning people like you and me buy an ownership share and own the store. They tend to be really connected to and responsive to the needs of the community. But some things that are pretty consistent across food co-ops are an emphasis on local and what's regional, and their commitment to and give back to the community. Those are really important things in food co-ops. And there's also a sense of co-ops being a place that are welcoming and inclusive to all. I think that sense of community is also really important across food co-ops. So yeah, there are co-op, I think where this started was there are co-op kind of groupies, right? People who, if they're visiting a community, will check out the co-op. So we hope we can attract those folks as they're visiting here in Oshkosh.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. What else?
So so that's kind of on the economic side. The other thing that has us excited is, right now the neighborhood that we're locating in, that corner of Jackson and Pearl, is what the USDA calls a food desert, like a low income, low access area. And if you think about this, if you think about trying to buy groceries, and if you don't have adequate transportation,
yes,
it is not convenient.
No, there's nothing to me sometimes more heartbreaking is watching somebody who has to get on the bus with they got their cart, or they're trying to make, I don't know where they're going, but in my mind, they're going halfway across the nation. And then they get off the bus, and then they still got to probably carry it a block or two to their home. And it just makes me, I don't know, it does make me feel some kind of way.
Yeah, I totally agree. When I was a college student, I did an internship out in Washington, D.C., and I didn't have a car. So I, hiked my way to the grocery store. And boy, did that make me aware of how much carrying groceries is.
Right.
It's tricky to get enough. And I mean, I was a one person show at that time. I wasn't buying for a family of 4. And what would happen to my groceries, in the course of that transit, right? Stuff gets banged around and bumped, and it's not just like loading it up in your car and taking it in. You might end up with broken eggs by the end of it, depending how careful you are.
My biggest fear in that is the broken bag.
Yeah.
What do you do if your handles come off, or your broken bag and you're half a block away or whatever? I mean, that's
exactly.
Whoa.
Exactly. So so that area that we're going to be in is underserved by grocery. And it's not the kind of place that probably a conventional grocery store is going to open a massive location. I think there was a lot of effort to try to recruit, and that wasn't probably going to happen. It's probably not the economic model. So this is the kind of project that needs the community to come together and say, we want to do this and we're going to do this together. And so we're excited to be able to bring, fresh goods, fresh produce, fresh fruits and vegetables, packaged goods, grab and go items, bakery, dairy, bring those products to that area so that it's easier for people who live nearby to get access to fresh, healthy food. And that is really critical. I mean, what you eat influences your lifelong health.
Absolutely.
And so the thought that people might be substituting shopping at a convenience store, like a gas station or a dollar store or something like that, as their primary source of food because they can't easily get to a grocery store.
Right.
I mean, they're not the same, right? So we want to provide in and with the neighborhood, have a prospering grocery store because we think it's good for the community.
Well, the one thing you miss sometimes in those, and nothing against the Quick Trips of the world.
Oh,
because,
no, not at all. They play a role.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes what you're missing in food deserts is you can always find processed food, but to find fresh food and especially vegetables and fruits and stuff like that, sometimes, and that's, let's face it, whether we like it or not, that's what the body needs.
Yeah, absolutely. We might not like to eat our vegetables, but they nourish us and they help us retain our health. And what we know, League of Women Voters in Oshkosh did a study a few years ago, and they also found that, if you don't have access to a grocery store and you're buying just basics, cereal, bread, soup, basics, things that, and you're buying them at a substitute grocery store, you might be paying 2 to 3 times as much because they're also not priced as a grocery store.
Exactly.
So the people who probably can least afford it are actually being charged the most. So there's lots of economic reasons and health reasons. I think that this is a great location and we're super excited to be locating there.
Oh yeah. I love the location.
Oh,
just because of, if you've been around the Kosh long enough, you've watched that whole area transform
from
my
goodness,
all sorts of things that had used to be the gas station over there. And, and it's just,
it's like night and day difference right now.
There used to be a bar there. I mean, there was just so much that's been in that area, and it's all cleared out. And then this starts going up, and I just think that is awesome.
There's an emerging neighborhood when you look around.
Yes,
they redid the water tower a couple of years ago, and you look around that, and there's some apartment buildings, and I think some condos. It's a little emerging neighborhood. And so it's exciting to see the transformation that's happening, and where the Brio building, that's the name of the building that the food co-op will be located in. I mean, that used to be a blighted site. It was, contaminated. The city remediated it. So this is, it's considered an opportunity zone. It was declared a property that is in need of investment. That's a federal designation, an opportunity zone. And I think to see, as you just said, what's happening in that whole neighborhood is really exciting. I think one of the best hidden gems in Oshkosh is the Riverwalk.
Oh, yeah.
I love the Riverwalk.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I think that is totally transforming that whole little loop around our downtown, from the Main Street Bridge up to Wisconsin and Ohio and back. And I think this development is just one example of what's cool that's happening in that area.
Well, I mean, people in other areas, particular other larger urban areas, people pay big money to have access to things like that. And we have it here in the Kosh, and it's available to everyone. It's beyond affordable to get to reach, to have access to, and it's not built in a way where it feels, for lack of a better term, economically biased.
Right. It's accessible to everyone. And I see everyone using the Riverwalk, whether
Absolutely.
They're fishing off the fishing pier or they're, hanging out in some of the parks that are adjacent or just walking, biking. scootering, rollerblading, whatever that might be.
The whole nine.
The whole nine, exactly. So, and I love that. I think it's such a great asset and feature that we have in the community. So we're happy because the co-op is, just about a block off of the Riverwalk. So we think that makes it one of the things that we considered in the site selection process was accessibility. So are we close to the bus line? Will we be easy to park? Can you walk to get there if you live in downtown? And we added a nice benefit because we're so close to the river. You could even boat up and tie up. There's some docks, kind of by those apartment buildings. So you could boat up and take advantage. And we think that's great. It's, close to downtown. It's close to the university.
Right.
As a student, that's another time in life, I think, when people end up walking for groceries. So to be close for students, I think is also really cool. So
I do think that is important. The students having access to a close grocery store. And I think it's great because, you don't always have access to transportation when you're living on campus.
Right, exactly. And I had the fun of meeting with Oshkosh Student Association, OSA, like the governmental group of students, and talking to them about the project and hearing like, what are the things that you need? And I think that's the other thing that they talked about. There are a lot of dietary needs that students have. Some are vegetarian, some are vegan, some have gluten allergies, et cetera, and wanting to find a place that's easily accessible where they can buy, as they called it, dorm friendly meals. Things that we can store, and I'm envisioning the mini fridge and the microwave, because that's kind of what you have access to, but that are still good and meet your dietary needs. So I think there's lots of opportunity there to help students also live healthy lives.
No, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is so I've got a couple of things.
Please bring it on.
All right, so I've heard that the location will house the opportunity for community to meet there, to utilize for whatever the community needs, whether it's meetings or things of that sort. I'm also curious about what else is included in that location and the housing on top. Sure. I drive past this construction every day on my way to work, and as I watch it and it's becoming, I'm like everybody else who lives in the Kosh. I'm excited for it, but I'm curious about it. Yeah. So what's all happening?
Yeah, so the Brio building itself is 60 apartment units and then first floor retail.
Wow, there's 60 units?
There's 60 units, and they range from studio units to 2-bedroom, 2-bath. That's the size of the units. And their market rate, which when Merge Urban Development, they're doing the building, when they first came to town, they told us that they interviewed people around the community to ask, like, what are the kinds of housing that are needed in the community? And one of the things that they heard was that there's a need for these sizes of apartments or these styles of apartments, and for market rate kind of in the central city. So that's what they're developing. I'm hoping that they'll have, and I haven't talked with them to know, but I'm hoping that they'll have an opportunity. I think right now, if you're interested, you can go to the site and schedule an appointment to go to the site and get a tour. I think they're at that point in the process.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I think they've actually, I know that they have actually signed some leases with people already. The first person that they signed a lease with, they actually gave a membership to the food co-op. So as part of the congratulations and marking the occasion. So it'll be neat to have residents in the building for the co-op as well. And I'm hoping that we'll be a resource for the residents in the building. We as the co-op will be a resource for residents in the building. The first floor will contain the food co-op, and then we leased some additional space that we hope to grow into over the next years.
Okay.
It may take 5-10 years until we're at that point, but we leased some additional space. So we're hoping to be able to sublet that space to a tenant.
Okay.
So we're in talks with a prospective tenant right now, and we've had interest from some others as well. So we're hoping to be able to lease that tenant space. There's 2 separate tenant spaces, and that we're looking at leasing. So within the space there, within the store space, we also have a little indoor seating area that will have tables and like a little window, sort of bar height, counter that people can work at.
Kind of like a little cafe-ish feel?
Yeah, there won't be like a counter where you order stuff. You'll grab stuff if you want something to eat or drink from the rest of the store. Right. And then once you check out, you can sit in this little eating area. That's kind of the game plan.
That is awesome, actually.
Yeah, so there'll be a little space for people to hang out or sit with their laptops or, whatever it is. But we're hoping that becomes a little community gathering space. That's one of the other ideas behind this project. There aren't enough places that kind of bring people together and act as the community's kitchen table. And that's really one of the things that we're hoping will happen at the food co-op. What we've seen in food co-ops around the country that we love is that they become kind of gathering places for the community. In Durham, North Carolina, there's a really cool thing that they do, which is the community dinners. So once a week, they offer $5 dinners.
Oh.
And it's a great, and it might be taco night or lasagna night or, who knows what kind of fare they're serving. But it's usually a healthy alternative to an affordable alternative to, drive through somewhere. And it brings people together. Pre-pandemic, they would have 700 to 800 people gathering at their grocery store in their parking lot, eating in the aisles. I mean, it was just crazy. And our mentor co-op in Menominee on the west side of the state does community dinners as well. I think theirs are $4 dinners, and they do, and they would have 200 to 300 people. So we're hoping that over time we can develop something like that at the food co-op that brings people together because, food does that.
Oh, food. Yeah.
Right. Like you and I are talking about salsa and I'm like, my mouth is watering as you're describing your salsa. Food has a way of bringing people together. So we're hoping that the food co-op can be that kind of force in the community. So, people like you and I can get to know each other over this common shared interest in food.
Right. Well, food we all need it. And, I don't know. Something about breaking bread with people.
It's like you share something that is, that connects you. It leaves you with, you can talk in a way that you don't always get to in other settings, right? Because it's this relaxed, like we're going to enjoy a meal together and we're going to have conversation. And there's something, you're right. There's something kind of magical that happens in that.
Yeah. It's not forced.
Exactly.
All right. What am I not asking? What else is happening? Right there that like I wouldn't even know to ask.
Sure. Oh, I like this question. This is good. What have I not told you yet? Well, construction, the build out for the actual grocery store is underway. And in fact, we're going to have a video that drops on our social media tomorrow that shows kind of the inside of the store as it is, but the drywall is up and they're getting ready to start painting. Okay. So we're at that point in the process. And after that, they start bringing equipment in. Okay. So the store is coming along. We have a general manager who joined us in December. His name is Jeffrey Tyrone. He moved here, relocated to the community from Rapid City, South Dakota, and he is in the process of hiring. So this is probably one of the big things to talk about.
Oh, so that's actually, we're hiring.
We're hiring, exactly. Okay. We've got some really key positions. So I'm hoping maybe your Kosh listeners are going to be able to refer some good people to us.
Yeah, I did. We're going to have to, I'm going to need some information so we can put that in the podcast notes. But okay. How do you apply? I mean,
so we've got an application on our website at oshkoshfoodcoop.com. There's a jobs tab. And so if you go there, it will take you to the open positions and then you can complete an online application. And then we're going to have a couple of job fairs coming up in June that will be opportunities for people to just go and meet the hiring team and hopefully be be able to staff the store. So right now we're looking for a kitchen manager. So if there's somebody out there who's listening and knows somebody with kitchen management experience, it's going to be a great place to work. And we're super excited about what this person can do. They will be able to have influence on the prepared foods that we offer. So that's like the grab and go deli stuff and bakery. And so it's going to be a great role. And then we're also hiring a front end manager and a produce manager.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So those are available positions. And, I don't know if people always think of like grocery as a way that they can have an impact on the community, but this is a way to have an impact on the community. So this is a mission driven kind of project. And I think if somebody's got that kind of heart where they want to help make a difference in the community,
right,
this is a great way to do it.
For those with the servant hearts.
Exactly. So we hope that those are the first 3 positions that we'll be hiring, but then there'll be other positions that have to get filled in to help with the store as well. And it's going to be a really good team.
Do we have a launch date? I mean, an opening date?
Well, we're targeting late summer, early fall, and honestly, filling these positions is probably the biggest piece that we need to do right now to stay on track with that. So help us spread the word, folks, and get people in there. I think it's an exciting time, and the more we can help spread the word about those positions, the better off we'll be.
Absolutely. And if you're out there listening, please feel free to reach out to the Kosh, and I will be happy to connect you with Brenda or whoever is appropriate. And we'll try to see if we can make some connections and get some people some great opportunity.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And it's really important to us as an organization that we're trying really hard to ensure that our team reflects the community. So diversity, equity, inclusion, those are all really important issues as an organization. So just
Absolutely.
Making sure that we spread the word across the community is important.
All right. Anything else?
Just can't wait to one other thing that I want to talk about is just an event that we have coming up.
Oh,
a co-op birthday bash, specifically for the neighborhoods that we're going to be located in. We want to make sure that people know that we're going to be opening. So on Saturday, June 12th, we are planning an event to come and learn more about the co-op. That'll be in the Aurora parking lot. So there's an Aurora clinic right on Jackson Street.
right.
And we have that event coming up, and it'll be kind of a fun event. So stay tuned, save the date. We'll have more details that will be coming out.
All right. I have the all important question.
Yes.
Is there food?
Yes.
Look, Brenda, let's not front. It's
Right.
At the end of the day, people come when there's food, and is there food?
Right. Could you hold a food co-op event without food? I would think that would be a terrible idea.
It's not, hey, don't want to assume.
I'm glad you asked. So save the date, Saturday, June 12th. It'll be in the afternoon.
All right. And I want to throw in one more thing. Once again, for people who want to become member owners.
Yes.
How do they do that?
Oh, you can become a member owner. It's a $180 fee, and that can be paid either all at once or over an 18-month period for $11 a month. And you can go on our website, oshkoshfoodcoop.com/join is where the membership form is. And some people ask, is that an annual fee? Like, do I have to pay that every year? No. When you buy an ownership share, you're buying and you own a piece of the store. So this isn't a recurring fee. This is once your $180 is paid, or you finish those 18 months of payments, you're an owner.
You're an owner.
Yep, exactly. So easy to do. And then as an owner, you get invited to vote. You get to elect the board of directors. That's something people don't always know. So you own the place. You have a say. You have an influence. And then we do owner kind of special events. We hold an annual meeting that our owners are invited to update them on what's happening, the state of the co-op. And then we are also looking at how we can offer special owner benefits once the stores open. So owners will have some little rewards.
Some perks.
Exactly.
Hey,
exactly. For being an owner.
You can't turn down a good perk.
Exactly. Plus you get I mean, right now there's like a little bit of pride, I think, in being an owner.
Yeah.
You know, you are, as an owner, you are helping make this project happen. This wouldn't happen. We have 1,550 owners and growing, and this project wouldn't have happened without those people. So I think there's a lot of pride that people can take in knowing that they helped make this happen.
Well, okay. Well, Kosh listeners out there, I hope that after you listen to this episode that we have 1,550 plus
Yes,
owners.
exactly.
So
we will take it. We welcome one and all. That's really a critical piece for us. So please do join us and help us make this project happen.
that is awesome. All right. I think we're going to start wrapping up.
Let's do it.
Okay. So we're at that point where we start wrapping up. Once again, Kosh listeners, as you always know, we are a work in progress. And I'd love to hear from you. Please, please, please email, Facebook message us. Let us know what you think. If you've got new segment ideas, because and we want to hear from you. I respond to everything personally, so we appreciate it. And if you want to email us, you can email us at askthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, that is askthekosh@gmail.com. I love hearing from you all out there. This is that part of the show. It is shout out time.
Woo-hoo. I love shout out time.
Oh yeah, shout out time is good time. So okay, so Brenda, who do you got that you want to shout out?
Well, let's see. I first want to shout you out. I think you do a great job of bringing some different voices to Oshkosh and to listeners, and I think that's just awesome. So I want to shout you out. I don't know if everybody, I think everybody listening would agree with that. That we appreciate the exposure that you are giving to people and projects in the community.
Hey, I love the Kosh.
Yeah.
The Kosh has been good to me. I want to be good to the Kosh, and there's just so many good people here, and why not celebrate that? Like it is so easy to pay attention to the challenges, and we never spend enough time celebrating all the good, and we have so much to celebrate in this community. So I just like to let's go on and celebrate, girl.
Exactly. Share the love. That's our thing. Share the love. So, well, and it's Mother's Day, so I of course have to shout out all the moms, right?
Oh,
and all the mom-like figures who just help us, guide us, teach us, and I feel really lucky to have the mom that I have, and I know a lot of other people feel the same way. So we gotta shout out the moms today. And I also have to shout out my husband, who was just amazing during this whole pandemic thing. I would wake up in the morning and he would have coffee waiting for me. So he's just like the best. I won the husband lottery, I always say. So I have to give him a shout out. And then of course I'm totally just blown away by the 1,550 member owners who are helping make the Oshkosh Food Co-op happen. And I want to shout them out because this is a project that doesn't happen if the community doesn't come together to make it happen. And I love the applause there for that, because I think they're cool. And then I think the last is just, there's a lot of people who do things in this community who they're quiet about it. And,
oh yeah.
And things, they just kind of work behind the scenes. They don't seek attention, and they just make things happen. And they know who they are, and I would shout them out because I think that there's a lot of good that comes, and I really admire that servant heart to be able to do that work and believe so strongly that we can continuously work to make this a better place, and that they just are going after it.
We got some low key heroes.
We do. We really do.
Some real low-key heroes, and sometimes you don't even know you're sitting next to them, right? So I have a great appreciation for that.
Agreed.
All right, I want to go back real quick to your shout-out to your mom, because we're going to interact a segment.
Oh, yes, that's right.
So
that's right.
What is the advice that was ever given to you from mom? That one that sticks with you?
Sure. So advice from my mom that sticks with me. My parents were always big on saying, always leave things better than you find them.
Ooh.
And I think that was good advice. Whatever you touch, you can always try to take it to the next level. You can always try to do something more. And I think that's good advice to approach life with, how can I add value to this? Or how can I help here in a way that's going to advance the cause? So that's probably advice that I've tried to follow in my life.
I like that. Good looking out, Mom.
Yeah, good looking out.
All right. Once again, I'd also like to follow and say shout out to all the moms out there, especially the moms that are in my life. My mom, my sister, who's a new mom, my wife, most definitely, and a whole aunts, in-laws, all of those great moms out there. We appreciate you. We love you. The world can't function without you. Let's just be honest, right?
Exactly.
Another special shout out to Michael and Leaf. Got your message. You know what's up. Can't wait. It's on the horizon.
Ooh,
all
mystery.
Right? Yes. A special shout out to Gwen and Mike. They are what I would like to call my remodel team. They've done amazing work in the house. My paint job. I had somebody come in the house. I think it was yesterday, and they were like, "Your paint job is amazing." And I was like, "Yes, it is." Mm-hmm. So if anybody needs an amazing painter out there, get at the Kosh. I'll hook you up. All right. And we haven't said this yet, but to our up and coming graduates, we are about a week away from commencement. For all those new alumni titans that are right on the horizon, a week out to walk across, and we're having in-person graduation.
Yay! So cool.
Oh my God, yes. And it's amazing to have that in person again.
Yes.
I can't stress that. Shout out to the administration team of the university for being bold, brave, and having a plan so we could do these things. There's a lot of other institutions that did not. They did not go that road, and I'm not trying to knock anybody for what they did or didn't do, but I want to celebrate the fact that we are.
I think it's incredible, and how wonderful for those students to be able to take part. It's been such a challenging couple of years for them. So to be able to take part in this and have this sense of normalcy, I think is just incredible.
Well, you as somebody who walked across the stage themselves, when you get done with that 4+ years of going through college, that's your day.
Exactly.
You need that day. So
you've earned that day.
Yes, you have. All right. So last thing. And you gave us a little taste from Mom, but now we need yours. Parting words of wisdom. What do you got for us, Brenda?
There's a what I believe is an African proverb that I absolutely love, and it's if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that speaks to me. I love when people come together to work together and make something better. And I think that we get further when we do that, when we come together and find the things that unite us and that, that we have in common and that we can work together toward.
All right, Brenda. So what did you think? Did you enjoy this?
This was a blast. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for doing this. Once again, to all you out there in Kosh land, we appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. The Kosh.